So welcome to the NAVO Member Spotlight, Cheryl.
Thank you. So happy to be on today. I appreciate you inviting me.
Yes, so please tell us the name of your business and what you do in the world.
Oh, okay. Integrative Counseling Solutions is a business that I started 13 years ago, and we are an outpatient mental health agency that serves clients in 7 Iowa counties, 37 Iowa schools, and 3 central Iowa offices, Indianola, West Des Moines, and Knoxville. We provide outpatient mental health services. We are 15 therapists strong. We also have a psychiatrist and several grad students who provide skill development. We do stress management programming. We work with individuals, couples, families, and businesses, and now school districts as well.
Was it a seamless transition with COVID to do video? Did you do video before, or was that all a new thing?
Well, we have one therapist who operates completely from Arizona. So she had been doing a HIPAA protected web-based video teleconference system called TheraLink. And so when this happened, we closed our office very quickly, told everybody to go home, said you will be able to see your clients online, which was a big transition for most of our therapists. And it won't be it wasn't easy because there was some reluctance, because we therapists like to see our clients in person, just like you do. And maybe some didn't believe that it was going to be as effective, but we've shown that it can be done. It can be done well. We brought in some of the top play therapists. We work with a lot of children as well as adults. And so we brought in Eliana Gill and Katie Sue Tillman, and they worked with us on how to effectively do play therapy online with children, which is the most challenging piece of this, right? Teenagers on up can work very well by video, but try to get a 5-year-old's attention and keep it there for 30 minutes, and you have to be pretty entertaining so to do that. But
I envision like maracas and like,
oh, right. Oh, I didn't bring any of my toys, but I have plenty of puppets and all kinds of games and manner things, art therapy. We trained our staff in art therapy, teleplay therapy, self-care, and sand tray therapy online, and just anything that we could think of that would be helpful to our therapists to be able to engage and work with and treat our clients. So it's fun too. I mean, we have a good time, and it's just we had to wrap our head around the fact that they weren't going to be in the room, and that was the safest thing for everyone. It still is. So we still do a lot of play therapy, although we are doing some services in person. I leave it up to the individual therapist to decide if it's safe for them and their family, for them to be out in person, seeing children at school, or seeing adults, sometimes in the office and sometimes online, and sometimes in their car, because that's where they are. So hopefully parked and in their car.
Yes. I think that's a great thing that came out of this. I see us maybe in the future with most things having kind of a hybrid thing. Maybe someone didn't go to counseling because they didn't have transportation, or because they didn't have enough time to get there, have the session, and then get home. But this way, I would hope that it's opened up possibility for people that maybe would have said no before, that are like, wait, okay, I can do this at home. If I have to lock myself in the closet away from the kids for a half an hour, I can do that.
Right. It is cut down on no-shows. Weather doesn't have to be a barrier anymore. Transportation doesn't have to be a barrier any longer. If you have willingness and some sort of a gadget, we can work with this. And we're fortunate to have a stellar system that we're working with that really gives us great quality. And it's just as good as what we're using this morning. And so, yes, privacy is the big key to having an effective therapy session. And so that's why sometimes people are in their car, because the kids are all home, and maybe even a spouse is working from home, and they just need a place where they can get some privacy. And so But we're always learning, and that's the great thing. I really pride ourselves on being lifelong learners, and so we can always improve and look for new ways to reach people. But our motto has always been to break down barriers to reach people and deliver mental health services. That's always been our thing. So we reach out to rural Iowa and to people in schools, and using telehealth fits really well in that. I agree. It's not so strange anymore. In fact, I would say the teenagers probably prefer it, right? It's much more convenient, comfortable for them.
Yeah. Well, they're comfortable being on their phone, right?
Right. So it's just, and really the app does work on their phone as well. So there's
Yeah.
that option. And
Great.
we have, the more ways we have available to us to reach people, the better, because people really need the help right now.
Yes.
It's such a difficult time. It was a little difficult before that. I'd say people all have we have our own stressors, whether it's mental health, it's stress problems, family problems, possibly problems with children, or interpersonal relationships. But this COVID has just created a international mental health pandemic, unfortunately.
Yeah. So what are your best tips for the people that are now having to work from home and now have kids at home and they're trying to work at home and be a teacher? It's like, before we had our hats that we wore in these different boxes, and now we're in just one giant box and all the hats are there. So like, what's your best advice for people on how to manage that with that?
Well, support is huge. So if you have other parents that are also homeschooling while working, absolutely, friendship network is imperative. And that is also why NAVO is so wonderful, because that has been my support network for business and being a woman business owner. But the same thing goes for being a mom and trying to homeschool children while also working from home. That presents new challenges, but you've got a network of other parents that can support you. If you need specialized help, if your child has special needs, reach out to the right professionals to get your child what they need. If you need technology help, by all means, without technology, we are all lost. Make sure you get the right professionals to support you there. Take time for yourself each day, whether that means you have to get up an hour early to get your yoga in, your coffee in, or tea. You need a walk. Fortunately, the weather isn't horrific yet. We can still get outside. I was just reading about I think it's a Finnish concept. I can't even pronounce the word, but it means still engaging outdoors in the cold weather. So there are no bad weather days or just the wrong clothing. So get the right clothing on, get your snowshoes on, get your fat tires on your bicycle or whatever it is you need to make sure you're still getting appropriate exercise. And I always say sunshine and exercise are so important. Well, sunshine can be kind of hard to come by. So there are these wonderful lights that can mimic sunshine and get you the various light spectrums that you need to keep yourself mentally well, and staying in touch with your loved ones. And if you can't see them in person, by all means, use the technology to see them in person. Have those family Zoom calls. You can eat dinner together, each on one end of the Zoom the other day. I picked up dinner for our son and his girlfriend and for us so that we could do that. You have to be a little bit creative and flexible. And I think flexibility is the key. Being rigid will kill us at this point. I mean, if we don't bend, we'll break. So learning to be flexible and creative and work around whatever we need to work around so that we can maintain our sanity through all of this. How are we going to be flexible around this new option? We pick up our groceries. We don't go into grocery stores, but that's just us. Everybody's got their own level of tolerance for being out in public and or having people in their home or outside, and what their rules are, and to respect others' rules too, and understand that people have different conditions and things that they need to be careful about, and that we just have to respect that and not take it personally if they don't want to get together. Or yes, we miss our friends for sure, but some people are getting together, so then let's not criticize those that are, and understand that maybe they don't have the same kinds of concerns that you may have in your family. So accepting that we don't have control over everything. And it
Yeah.
is easy to get upset. I've been upset when I went to do a drive up pickup of material to make masks, and the lady comes out with no mask on at the fabric store where they're selling the material to make the masks. And I'm like, we don't have a mask on. So
So tell me how you got introduced to NAWBO.
through Lynn Schrader, who was at the time president with Lori Day. And Lynn is my sister-in-law. So I'm very fortunate.
Oh,
Had an early introduction to NAWBO and watch her lead and get to meet so many wonderful women. I just can't say enough about the sisterhood that is NAWBO. And I remember our last night together at the tip of the pandemic as it was just starting, and being at the governor's mansion. It was the night
mhm.
the governor was not able to be there because she was in a meeting about COVID-19, and
Yeah.
walking in that door, and then we were told no handshakes, no hugs, just, elbow bumps, but we couldn't help ourselves. And NAWBO is a group of huggy women and really do um, care about one another and enjoy each other's company and lift each other up and support one another. And that is something that every business owner needs. Um, and I'm sure men have it in a different way, but it doesn't look like it does for us, because we as women are connectors and relationship oriented, and that carries through in NAWBO in every way. And so I see it when people are giving a shout out to another NAWBO member.
So for those who are newer members, we've had a good handful of people joining in the last month. So what advice would you give new members?
Well, make as many events as you can. However, those events might be online right now, but go ahead and do those morning coffees and the cocktails and conversations to make sure you're meeting people, because this is a difficult time to get out and meet people. And I miss seeing everybody, but I don't go to a lot of events, and that's just my situation. You may be in a different boat, and so you can do that if you're able, and get to know these women, because they're fantastic and they will help you.
Tell us your favorite places to eat.
I want to give a shout out to Greenbrier, which is our local women-owned restaurant here in Johnston, and one of my favorite places to sit out on the patio. And I like everything there, so it's really hard to pick, but they have great boards and mushrooms and coconut shrimp, and menu changes somewhat, but it's always good. And Panca Peruvian, and that's been a lovely small place in town, but she's bringing in Peruvian food to Iowa, so that's very unique. And gotta love the pisco sours. It's not a meal, but the meals change, so the pisco sours are a constant. And Tangerine at the Arts Center, Susan Medorsky has a cafe right there at the Arts Center. When the weather is nice, it's a fabulous place to sit outside and in the patio. It's very popular when the weather's nice too. But they have lovely indoor seating as well, and a good luncheon place.
Usually with cocktails and conversation and coffee, we're trying to let people talk about their business and stuff, but it might be nice to have a time that we can just really ask you questions, or just kind of vent about frustrations and kind of get them out.
Yep.
I know that we don't want to make cocktails and conversation or coffees like too heavy. And so we want to keep those light, but it might be nice for us to have a time that we can be like, okay, I just got to get this off my chest. Like, is anybody else feeling this way?
Right. That's what we talked about, was having a time, just like, I think we'll be doing something with yoga. I think we're doing something with stretching. Now we're doing something with support, just to call it a support group, and for women business owners. So obviously we're not going to be providing individual therapy in a format like that. That would be, more of a group support. But
yeah,
if there's anybody that is in need of more individual services, I can certainly refer them or get them started, whatever they would need. I would like to get something in there about the fact that we're hiring therapists. And so anybody, we're growing and there's such a need out there. So I'd like to put a plug in there for, let me, please pass the word along if you know of any therapists that might be open to working with a great team. Really, truly, we're hiring people from all over the state and even out of state now. because they can work
True.
with out of state. And as long as they're in the process of getting licensed in Iowa, the governor's proclamation has allowed people to work from out of state to help during this pandemic. And also, people are in need all over the state of Iowa. So we're expanding to become Iowa wide rather than just regionally here in central Iowa. So if there's need somewhere, we want to be able to meet that need. And so that we're hiring to meet that need. I mean, that's really all we've ever done is meet a need. That's how we've grown from 1 therapist in 2008 to 15 therapists today. So it's just, there's a need. One of the questions on there was quotes. So I spent some time last night, I was thinking about the quotes that have inspired me the most. Rabbi Hillel said, if I am not for myself, who will be for me? If I'm only for myself, what am I? And if not now, when? And this was some of the inspiration for me in starting the business. That fits very nicely with the leader from NAWBO, who said, get a seat at the table or build your own table and make sure to include other women at the table.
Ooh, I love it.
And lastly, Thoreau said, go confidently in the direction of your dreams, live the life that you've imagined. And I have tried to live by that.
Yeah.
Just nice to be a part of a sisterhood. Even if I don't get to see you all, I just still know you're there. And that's really, that's comforting at times like this. So thank you. And again, please let me know how I can help.